One of the interesting attributes of Thailand, unlike European countries, is that there's been much less importance to the written word, to books, to published material. So the Thai forest tradition, the origins probably no one can detect or discover. You can say even up to the present day, the tradition is still one much more of an oral tradition, even now, today. And this is one quite important aspect to, say, just to Thai Buddhism or to Thailand in general. This ties into the question of, like, where did this Thai forest tradition originate? Like, who were the Thai forest monks from 400 years ago? There are accounts, whether these are in printed paper or carved into stone, or however they were recorded from, say, the time of Ayutthaya and Sukhothai, that they were famous monks who were invited to the court to counsel the royalty. And so their names might be mentioned, but they're not necessarily the forest monks, because there is a separation that goes all the way back to the time of the Buddha of the forest monks and the village monks. In fact, this separation has caused a little bit of friction. There's a little bit of competition between these two. It's quite peaceful. Never heard of any blood being shed. The forest monks are more focused on meditation and less on, say, studying the Tripitaka or memorizing the Tripitaka, whereas the so-called village monks are more known for studying Pali, really learning in depth the scriptures, the commentaries, and then finding ways of transmitting that knowledge to the lay people, and also acting as a form of transmission from one generation to the next to ensure that teachings don't become distorted. So going back to the question of the Thai forest tradition, I don't think anyone knows, although going back to Venerable Mahakassapa, who was, you could say, the first forest monk, in really the epitome of the forest monk. We lived in the jungles. There are verses of uplift that we have poems that how joyous it is to walk in these mountain glades and hear the trumpeting of elephants and see these blossoms. The beauty of nature and of course the joy of liberation. But we can go back at least 100-200 years in Thailand, and that's where the picture becomes clearer. I think that picture is clear because there probably was an unbroken lineage of a forest tradition in Thailand going back since, you could say, time immemorial in the sense of what's been recorded, history. But certainly in the last 100 years, then, particularly with Ajahn Mun and his life, somehow that captured the imagination of the Bangkokians. Bangkok has very much been the center of gravity in Thailand for the last 200 years, and that's where the government's based, most of the commerce, the industry, and so that was really significant, that wealthy Bangkok people, or you could say even aristocrats, took an interest in these monks with very kind of, not shabby, but compared to very much the ascetic because, like, say, one of the 13 Dhutanga rules is to just use robes that you find discarded cloth, and which usually just came from cremation grounds. So the cloth that was used to bundle up the corpse, then chucked on the fire, not chucked, I'm sorry, placed carefully, But then the relatives didn't want to keep that cloth. They were quite happy to, if mendicants came to pick, they weren't offended, and then they would then sew these patchwork of cloth into robes. So these forest monks, certainly they lived quite a rough, difficult lifestyle out in the jungles, often walking many kilometers to the nearest village for every morning to collect enough food to eat for their one meal a day. And yeah, Ajahn Mun was really you could say he's the grandfather, and so the many there are a few exceptions of some monks who don't come from the Ajahn Mun lineage, but even Ajahn Chah did. And I say even because in Thailand you have these two what are called nikayas, these two schools, and they don't always see eye to eye. In fact, they don't participate in formal gatherings together, or didn't until recently. And Ajahn Chah, when he met Ajahn Mun and asked, should I move over to your school? And Ajahn Mun said, no, that school needs excellent monks, stay where you are. So that's a very nice story and encapsulates some of the diplomacy of the Thais. The Thais are very good at compromise and at diplomacy rather than conflict. There are people, they don't enjoy conflict. In fact, they're very good at finding skillful means to avoid it.